Hey guys, so today I'm going to be solving the Physics 9702 variant 1-3, which is the MCQ variant of May-June 2022. The timing for this paper is 1 hour 15 minutes, but I strongly recommend you try and finish the paper in about 35 to 40 minutes so that you'll have good timing when it comes to the exam, when the nerves kick in and stuff like that. So let's get started. So the first question here is asking which pair of quantities are physical quantities. Now, physical quantities, you have to remember, always have a magnitude and a unit. So you can't have the unit separately or magnitude separately when you're looking at physical quantities. Now let's look at the first option. The first option has charge and ampere. Now we know that ampere is a unit. So anything with unit is not a physical quantity, it's a physical unit. So let's see if there are any other units. Efficiency in kilograms a unit, Pascal's a unit. So the only other option is D. Let's just check. Period and potential difference. Neither of them are units, and they can be written. Period is written with a particular magnitude, and its unit is seconds, and potential difference is volts. Which list of unit prefixes decreases in magnitude from left to right? So immediately, I did this ahead of time to save some time when I make the video. But here, you've got largest and smallest. So I recommend you immediately write down which side has to have the largest and which side has to have the smallest when you see left to right. Okay, there's direction that they're talking about and decreases. So when we look at it like this, you should know the table. So how I learned it was P K M G, which is basically pico, nano, U is the micro, M, milli, kilo, mega, giga, tera. And clearly, tera is going to be higher. I mean, it's capital, so it kind of makes sense. So this is how it's going. But since we want the largest here and the smallest here, let's see, centi, milli. Centi is definitely greater than milli. We know that from centimeter and millimeter. That's out of the box. I mean, this is still can be considered. But then when you look at the middle, it's deci. Deci is greater than centi. I mean, it's not there in this particular list, but the additionals you need to know is just deci and centi. Additional or added to this list. So this is out of the picture. Then deci, centi. Deci is greater than centi, but milli does not come in between that. Milli is smaller than centi. So the smallest of this list is not at the side where it's supposed to be. Pico, kilo, milli. Clearly, kilo is the largest here. So this can be cancelled out. Then kilo, milli, pico. This is right. It goes with this criteria. So that's fine. Again, to save some time, I've typed things down ahead of time. So drag coefficient CD is a number with no units. So this has no units. So all units on this side have to cancel out. It is used to compare the drag on different cars at different speeds. CD is given by this equation, nothing important to note there. Where F is the drag force. Here's where things get important. F is the force. Rho is the density. This letter is not P, it's actually denoted as rho. I mean, called rho. A is the cross-sectional area, and V is the speed of the car. So immediately, so the question is asking for the value of N. Now, once you've read the whole question, I highly suggest you start jotting down or noting down some important things that you need for the question. Like in the previous question, we noted we need largest on one side and smallest on the other. Similarly, here, I immediately, when I knew that we were dealing with units, because this comes from solving for units and canceling out the units. So immediately I noted down the units of each of these, the SI base units of each of these quantities. And then, all constants cancel out when you're looking at just units. So this is how it ended up looking like. And before anything, I noticed that the only second in the denominator is in the speed, V. And the only second in the numerator is here, because there is no other unit there's no other quantity other than force. So force needs s to the power minus 2. And when you have the same power, same unit and same power on both the numerator and denominator, then they cancel out. We know we need second to cancel out. So same unit, second is the unit, and same power, so minus 2. So for minus 1 to become minus 2, you need to multiply minus 1, since by indices, from the rule of indices, a to the power m whole to the power n is equal to a to the power m multiplied by n. So n needs to be multiplied by minus 1 to give me minus 2. So basically, minus 1 times n should give me the same power in the numerator, which is minus 2. So n will therefore have to be 2, because 2 times minus 1 is minus 2. That's our answer over there. A micrometer screw gauge is used to measure the diameter of a small uniform sphere. The measurement of the diameter is this. What is the percentage uncertainty in the calculated percentage uncertainty in the calculated volume of the sphere using these values? So immediately, I know we need to use the formula of volume so that we can figure out how to calculate the percentage uncertainty. So volume of a sphere is equal to 4/3 times pi times r cubed. But what we have is diameter. And we can write the formula of the volume of a sphere in terms of the diameter to make things easier. So that is just nothing but 4/3 pi d cubed by 8. So we cancel out all constants, only leave the variable and its indice, so that we end up with d cubed. Now, when we calculate percentage uncertainty of anything, we just have to multiply the indice by the percentage uncertainty of the variable that we're using to calculate the volume. So in this case, there's only one variable d. So we'll just have to write it like this. So del d, which is the absolute uncertainty of V, divided by the actual volume into 100 equals, since this is cubed, I'm putting 3 in the front, and then del d is the absolute uncertainty of d, which in this case is 0.01 millimeter from the question, divided by the actual diameter is 5 millimeter, multiplied by 100. So since we're looking for this as a whole, all we have to do is 3 multiplied by 0.01 divided by 5. Since you're dividing even if you convert it to meters, this milli will get cancelled out. But if you don't want to take the risk, which I usually don't, I just suggest converting it to meter and then doing the calculation. Does not take too long. You just have to do multiplied by 10 to the power minus 3 because it's milli. And I'll help you guys understand and give you some tips and hints when I'm doing concept-wise videos as to how to approach these kinds of questions in MCQs, practicals, and structured questions. But for now, I'm just going with an overall run-through of how to attempt these questions. So if you pop in the values into a calculator, you'll get del V by V into 100, which is your percentage uncertainty of volume, as 0.6%. Okay, fifth question. Forces of magnitudes 2, 4, and 7 Newton combined produce a resultant force. The magnitudes of the three forces are fixed, but the forces may act in any direction in the same plane. What is not a possible magnitude of the resultant force? So here we have to think maximum and minimum. So let's first think about, for maximum, it'll just be 2 plus 4 plus 7, meaning they all act in the same direction, so they'll add up. Say this is 2 Newton, this is 4 Newton, this is 7 Newton. They will all add up. So the maximum value, 2 plus 4 plus 7, is 13. So this is definitely out of picture. Then let's look at minimum. The minimum value of the resultant force. Obviously, if you'll have to group 2 together to get you a minimum. And since 7 is the greatest value, you'll have 7 in one direction and the other 2 in another direction to give you the minimum value of force, right? Hopefully you can understand what I'm saying. But basically, if you try different combinations, you're going to end up with the minimum resultant force being in this scenario. So this is 2, this is 4, this is 7. So it'll be 7 minus 2 plus 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. So 0 is definitely not a possibility, since the minimum is 1. That's how you end up with this conclusion. Hopefully you understood how this minimum thing works. If you didn't, you can pause the video and take a minute to try out some different scenarios on your own. But that's it for the first 5 questions. So let's check this together in the marking scheme. Okay, this is the marking scheme for the same May-June 2022. Physics 9702, variant 13. So first question, okay, let's go from the 5th question, actually. 5th question is A. 4th question, C. Is correct. 3rd question, B. 2nd question, D. And 1st question, D. Okay, so we got the first 5 questions right. Nice.